We're gonna talk about the mock draft at some point.
Yeah, we'll get the mock draft up. That was a cool thing. So how did the mock draft come about? Like who reached out and stuff?
Riot
just reached out.
Yeah, they're like, we have this idea for it,
and they were like,
do it.
And you're like, okay, done.
There was like a couple different ways that we could have done it. What was kind of weird was when they reached out, they like whoever was reaching out, I'm not gonna like throw them under the bus, but they weren't like clear. Like the person didn't know that there weren't 2 teams left.
Oh.
Or that there was more than 2 teams left. They thought that it was just gonna be for finals. They're like, yeah, mock draft for finals, and it's like we don't know who's playing in finals yet. So then we decided on just doing EG versus FlyQuest because that's the only guaranteed matchup. Even though EG is most likely gonna beat FlyQuest based on the fact they're 5-1 against them. Yeah. It was interesting.
Was it not done by a content person?
It was.
So they should know better? That's why you...
Probably. I mean, I would assume that the people that are following the league should know how what's going on in the league.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, we'll get to that in a bit with your mock draft, but this penultimate episode before the finals here on Facecheck, Dom, Loco, myself driving you through the action. I had to wear my CLG jersey because that was the only way we are going to see CLG.
Wait.
Playoffs.
They said screen is frozen, and there's still people complaining about mic.
Dang, most scuff stream in a while. All right, save. We back. We good. 3 heads. All right. Yeah. So myself, Dom, Loco, bringing you the action. TSM, so close. There were heroes. There were zeros. That was a back and forth series all the way to Game 5. Got ourselves some silver scrapes. TSM and silver scrapes in the 2020 spring playoffs. And then Cloud9. They are not immortal. They did bleed 1 match there. It was a different type of draft against EG. But EG showing that, hey, they can hang, they can scrap with them, they can fight with them, and we're able to take a win. Guys, what were your big takeaways from the weekend?
You can go first.
Well, for the TSM, I'll start with like the TSM one. Like at TSM, I think this was like culmination of everything that happened in the season, and TSM has huge problems, and I also have like really big questions for them, and I can't wait till like we learn more about what the fuck happened. And for C9EG, that C9 is just so much better, and there is like ways to beat C9, but they actually have to mess up a decent amount before you even really get a shot as a North American team.
Yeah, I guess my takeaways from the weekend would be that pretty much it doesn't look like either of these teams match up well into C9. Surprisingly, I think that even though EG is going to beat FlyQuest, I think FlyQuest matches up better into C9, just based off like how they play their playstyle. I think just is more suited. I think Jizuke obviously has like flaws in the way he plays, but he's very good if you give him space, and C9 just gives him no space to operate, so he ends up just being a liability in the series. And then I guess the TSM thing, I don't know, man. Like TSM is just such a weird team in how they come up with like the decisions that they make. Like I don't understand how they arrive at their decisions from game to game, any best of 5, because like you'd think that if you just stomped FlyQuest with an all early game team in game 4, then drafting yourself into like a shit jungle matchup where you're just gonna get ran over and you have to just scale, like you have losing mid, losing jungle matchup, etc. Like just drafting yourself into that hole would just not make any sense. So yeah, I'm just really confused as to why they adapt in that manner throughout a series. Like normally when a series is being played out, like the 5th game is when you have the best idea of how to play against the enemy team because you just played 4 games against them. So you've been able to see what's working, what's not working, etc. So then for them to go to like the Sejuani draft on game 5, I felt was super, super strange.
I'll save my thoughts for when we go deep into the TSM series.
Yeah, let's start at the winning series, the winners bracket series with Cloud9 and EG. You talked about how Jizuke, when given space, can pop off. Instead, he showed the solo queue classic. He didn't go the 07 power spike on Yasuo. I think he was 2 and 6 before he started having an impact on the game. And Jizuke kind of got choked out here in multiple different games here as like he felt a lot more like a coin flip player in that one. He did get a solo kill in that game 4, but by that point the series has already been like so far away, as well as Svenskeren getting out jungled by Blabber, who I believe was player of the series in that series. Had multiple times where he escaped on multiple different champions as well. What were the big keys to victory here, Loco, for Cloud9 over EG? And what did we learn about EG in this series?
Mid and jungle, so fucking important for both teams, and Blabber and Niski just dunked on them. I know a lot of people don't really think about Nocturne as an early game jungler, but Nocturne's actually really hard to duel with early game. You can get a lot of AD if you land your Q, and you also have your passive for extra damage and the lifesteal back, and then you get the bonus attack speed from lethal tempo. It's really hard to duel Nocturne whenever he, able to land Q, and Cloud9 made the most of that. And I really like something that Jazz said. I'm not sure how much Nocturne was played when you played Dom, but you know when you get Nocturne ulted, like you'll just look at someone else's screen to see whatever the fuck's actually going on.
Yeah.
You can't do that online. So Nocturne supposedly.
Well, I mean, I feel like you can't, like, don't some of the team, well, I don't know how it is in NA, but I know in Europe, like, G2 is still together, like, in their place. Like, I'm pretty sure that, like, a lot of the teams are still together. Like Mad Lions is still together. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that's, like,
it's
like if they all live together.
It's teams with gaming houses, and teams with facilities aren't together. So,
I mean, I think that there are teams that are like, I don't know every team's living situation off the top of my head, so it's really hard for me to tell. Like,
well, we know that we know EG doesn't live in a team house because Kuma lives with you.
Yeah. Well, they all live in the same place.
Oh,
but yeah,
really?
they all live in my apartment building. Yeah.
And then,
but
FlyQuest lives in a house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, FlyQuest lives in a house. I think C9 lives in a house. TSM has like an office they go to, and then the players should all be separate. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that it's like minor. It's like very minor. It's very minor that you're going to be able to look at somebody's screen and then look back at your own screen and be able to like interpret that information perfectly.
Well, I mean, I think it did open kind of a can of worms a little bit of like, well, maybe just beyond the Nocturnal, just the effectiveness and the team synergy of being together, even though you're not necessarily.
I don't think that there was ever a point in that game where Nocturne ulted, and because they weren't able to look at each other's screens, they ended up losing the fight because of that. Like, I don't think there was ever a point where it was relevant in terms of like making a situation won or lost.
Yeah. It was just a small thing.
There was one where Nocturne ulted and then Licorice TP'd down by Dragon Pit. I thought that one was coordinated and cool. They waited till Paranoia went down. So just small things like that. It's just small uncomfortable wrinkles that everyone understands, but I think Loco has a little bit of validity to that point where those little
it was Jat's points. It was something that Jat talked about.
Yeah, it's those little moments that are better.
Yeah.
And then the one game that C9 actually lost, that was the first time where I saw them like make really big mistake in terms of positioning. Because it was when they had been separate from the team and Licorice not flanking at all, and they just opted into the team fight. So that one was weird. I think that was just like them being lazy in an online match. And because you're running Pantheon Talia, the moment you lose a team fight like that, game's pretty much over. That comp you need to consistently snowball all the way through.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they should have been able to snowball that game. They don't look that comfortable on the Pantheon Talia. I think Blabber's comfortable on Pantheon. I think Talia is like pretty flawed as a champion. Like most Talia games that we've seen in NA. Like, so we had Jizuke's one where they backdoored in playoff series versus FlyQuest, where it's like they ended up throwing that game. TSM ended up throwing that game. C9 ended up throwing their game that they played Pantheon Talia during the series. It seems like that is just a pick that works ideally, but like in NA, you just end up throwing at some point, and the pick like doesn't end up being that useful later on. And also, I think Jizuke like hard trolled that entire game. Like, I don't know how you can play Zoe into Pantheon Talia without cleanse. Well, no, like, so you have Zoe without and you brought Ignite versus Pantheon Talia, and he just wasn't playing scared at all. Like, he wasn't hugging like the right side. He wasn't trying to gain information about the jungler. And I think that this is like one of the main flaws about Jizuke as a player, is that he is like super, super killable with the way he plays lane. And that's why you see him on certain picks. You don't see him on picks like Azir. You don't see him on like the standard meta picks. Like you see him on things like Malzahar, where it's like you're not gonna like you have like some way of avoiding being one shot because of your passive shield. You see him on picks like Rise, where he's like not actually able to physically push the lane, so he doesn't have to make those decisions. You see him on champions like Echo that have a shield and escape, like etc. Because I think that just in general, he has this like flaw where he's not very good about positioning around the enemy jungler, and he doesn't really play to survive in a lot of situations.
I think Rise Echo is leaning into the split push more, and then Malzahar is just like an offbeat pick. Like I don't think they pick Malzahar often, and yeah, I don't think it's
Malzahar is their Zoe counter. That's like what they think.
How often have they used it?
3 times, I think, the split.
Oh wow, they've actually been picking it a lot.
Maybe at least twice, maybe 3 times.
Checking.
It just does not seem like a champion that Zizuke would prefer at all. Something immobile, something that doesn't split push. Like Malzahar is basically like what, a control mage?
Yeah, not a lot of skill expression for him to try to outplay people.
Yeah, but it's good in the 1-3-1, which is how they normally play.
Any other thoughts on like the C9 EG?
C9 EG. I don't know. I feel like there's really big skill discrepancy between the teams. So I think that that's like a huge issue. It's like if we get a C9 EG finals, I feel like it's going to be like pretty stompy. Like this series, even though it was 3-1, it didn't feel like EG could ever really win the series. Yeah. It was like kind of sad to watch.
I think it's a lot of that has to do with like C9 and EG overlapping in strength. Both teams like playing through mid and jungle. And then like in the first 2 games, Svenskeren just couldn't do anything.
Well, I mean, I think he just is outclassed really hard by Blabber. And also I think Jizuke, like, I think going Yasuo into a Nocturne is so troll to me. Like, that's actually a hard counter pick to the Yasuo, even mid lane. So if you play mid lane Yasuo into a Nocturne, Nocturne just hard wins it at any point.
What was that? Spell shield? Paranoia?
Well, I mean, it's just the fear. The fear is undodgeable by Yasuo. Like, Yasuo can't outplay the fear in minions, so you're guaranteed to get the fear off, and then Nocturne just beats you down with auto attacks. You save your spell shield for the tornado, he can never knock you up. I don't know. It's just hard. It's just like a hard winning lane for Yasuo.
Yeah, good point on the Malzahar. Tied with the second most because he has 1, 2, 3, 4 champions that are tied for played twice. 2 wins on Malzahar for Jizuke. Yeah. One thing I felt was that the analysts were all positive about the fact that EG won, and they're like, yeah, it looks like a worthy opponent for the finals if they were to make it to the finals, but we're so much further down on that. Why are we so much further down on that? Because it felt like the losses were stomps and the win was a hard to execute draft, and it seemed kind of.
Well, I don't even think it was that. I mean, even in that third game, C9 was winning by what, like 4 or 5K, and they ended up losing.
Yeah, and then they gave Aphelios went from like 1 kill to 3 kills almost instantly in that dragon fight.
Yeah, I just don't see like how that's a game that gives you any confidence. It's like, yeah, like we can win. We get like maybe if they throw 1 in 4 games, like when we're down 5K, we can actually win.
And I'm also sure they have someone in their ears being like, yeah, don't hype up EG, don't trash talk finals.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, they didn't really give us that. They didn't really give us that. I always see the casters being relatively like unbiased, like relatively like casters are always trying to make games seem like less over than they are. Sure.
Like if the game is like a complete shit stomp, like normally like I'll hear like Freak talking about, okay, but from this like 10K deficit, at least like this champion scales, and it's like
that's exactly what I was gonna say. That was exactly what I was gonna say. Freak does do that. David does do that. He'll be the only one that does try to rationalize that 2 to 5% chance that a team can come back, but I would say a couple of other people don't. So, okay.
Well, it's just disproportionate because, like, I feel like if a team has like 5% chance of winning, then you should be taught, like, if you're trying to be like unbiased, right, and you're trying to just be like completely logical about the game. If your team only has 5% chance of winning, then you should only be talking about that for 5% of the time where you're analyzing win conditions, right? Sure. So if you're analyzing who's going to win. If one team only has 5% chance of winning, I think that you should only talk about it 5%. But like my problem is that they talk about it like 50%. So like, all right, like yeah, and like they have this super chance of winning because they have this champion that scales, and like even though the 2 inhibitors are down, that's just more farm funneling into the Corki, and it's like, all right, man, like sure, whatever you want.
That's a classic. Inhibitors are down. That means we can get free farm. Like that's something you're taught to say when you're on the losing team, and you need to like hype up your teammates.
Yeah, man. Freak he did the math on it, and he really likes. I played a game with him the other day, and we lost like 2 inhibs. He's like, great, lots of gold, don't feed. I was like, it's too late, it's over. But yeah, man. So EG, the quote unquote formidable one here at the second seed, fall into Cloud9, and it was just more Cloud9 cleanliness as usual, aggression as usual until that game 3 where they threw a little bit after having an early lead. What is the weakness of this Cloud9 other than hopefully they throw? Hopefully they pick a difficult comp to execute. Is there anything?
I mean, I don't think they're playing like the best champions in the game. I think that's something that can definitely be perceived as a weakness. Like champions like Nocturne there's a reason why no one picks Nocturne, right? Like besides for C9, no other team around the world is picking Nocturne. At least in playoffs, I haven't seen it once in LEC. Like these champions have like defined weaknesses that like Nocturne is extremely ulti reliant. Later on, he scales pretty poorly throughout the game. So C9's playing drafts where like they have high bar of execution. So if you're able to withstand that early game most of the time, like you will end up scaling better throughout the game. So I think that's like the huge thing.
I think, if you pick a control mage against C9 and your jungle doesn't get blown up, going into mid game, Nifki will be underfarmed, and Nifki usually on champions that get outscaled pretty easily. So that's a huge problem.
I guess the last question I wanted to ask with this this team here, just because it requires all Cloud9 members, the MVP, your 3 MVP options, all from Cloud9. It was Blabber, Niski, or Sven. No love for Licorice, who had himself a pretty solid series there, and no love for Vulcan, who had the big hook onto Svenskeren on the Blitzcrank at the very end. It was Vulcan's played solid throughout, so props to you, but not quite the accolades to you. Who you guys got?
I know Dom my guess is Dom has Blabber and I have Niski. We talked about it last time, like who's more important to C9. Like I'm still on the Niski train. I think Niski enables the team. I think he's the primary shot caller, and I think he's the most important person. So yeah, Niski MVP for me. Yeah,
I think that for me, like if I'm saying who I think I should get it, I think Blabber is the most important. I think Sven will get it because it's just like storyline, and Riot loves that shit. So if I had to guess, I would say that Zen's going to get it because it's like this huge comeback. He had a horrible season last year. He's having like a really good season this year. He's a former EU champion. He's probably going to be the first person in EU to ever win, or first European to ever win both EU and NALCS. So like I think there's so many storylines there that like they'll just go with Sven for the clout.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope people vote with the brain, and Niski gets it.
Yeah, the way MVP voting works is that all the casters, some of the officials, the media, the members of the media all have a vote. The coaches and a captain of each team will get to vote, and then they'll tally your first, your second, your third in each position, plus your MVP first and second and third. They tally the votes, and then whoever has the most points wins. That's how they'll do it. So we'll get to find out here this weekend. Usually they reveal it on the third place match. And since Cloud9 is off on Saturday, we'll probably figure out who the MVP is at some point during Saturday's matches. Now, Saturday's matches start with the team that won on Sunday, and that is FlyQuest. They take down TSM 3-2. It was a long series, and it started off with the omen that it was going to be a long series with the very long game number 1 that was swinging back and forth, and FlyQuest were in the base of TSM, and then TSM were able to outlast Bjergsen getting his Expeke on in game number 1. 2 more games back towards FlyQuest after they do the salty run back again. TSM and salty run backs. They don't get the victory in game 2. Game 3, adjustments made by FlyQuest. Game 4, TSM comes back in, able to take a victory in game 5. It was FlyQuest pretty throughout until they closed it out. Guys, another game 5 series for TSM, this time leading in a disaster and the end of their season. Loco, you called it. You're the one that said, hey, I don't feel good for TSM. I feel like something's wrong. And you were right. They ended up dropping here. What were your thoughts in this series?
I mean, I just have way more questions than I have answers about TSM at this point. Like, there's things that this team does. There's things that how this team adapts, who they play around, how they pick. Like, I don't understand. Like, the pieces they have, the coach they have, it shouldn't equal this. It just, TSM's always a mystery.
Yeah, I think that so their stuff is like very, very highlighted. Their problems are really, really highlighted in the series. Even the first game that you just referenced, how is that not a clean win once you get Baron? That just makes no sense to me. How is that game not a clean win once you have Baron? When you have Victor, who is literally on death cap, Void, and he's on his Ludens plus Hex Tech upgraded Hex Core item. Like, the Victor is so insanely strong. Like, how do you start like throwing? How do you keep on getting picked? Like, how does everyone just start dying? How does Victor get picked twice, like rotating in the mid game? Like, it's so, like the way they throw is so archaic to me. It feels like people don't throw like that anymore. They just randomly get caught and die, and then the enemy team like gets a free push. Like, it's just so weird the way this team plays. So that's super bad. Drafting game 5, I think, was just so horrible contextually for the series. Like, I mentioned it before, but if you have a 5-game series, right, you should be learning from every single game that you're playing. And if it gets to the 5th game, you should have the best idea of like what has been working for you and what like is the enemy team's preferred playstyle. So you should like understand, obviously, things like Rakan upped in priority super hard this series, right? Because Flycus was first picking Rakan over the overall draft. And then eventually, after they won 2 games on it, TSM was like, okay, we have to ban Rakan. We can't give it to them. And then, in game 5, it's like, okay, so what is our idea of how to play against FlyQuest? Game 4, you just won by playing all early game. It looks like the most comfortable that Dardoch is when he's on champions like Elise, champions that have early options to make plays. So to see them just blind pick the Sejuani on red side and ban out the Trundle, I felt like was so weird to me. It's like you can easily ban Trundle, take a 0-on-4, give Power of Evil whatever counter like he wants into the 0, and then just play whatever like jungler counter matchup you get, and have Dardoch just actually have agency without the game. As soon as they went for the Sejuani into the Olaf, like the game's just over. Like that matchup is unplayable unless you have priority in your lanes. You can actually like defend yourself, or your team can defend your jungler. And they couldn't defend the jungler at all. Like Sejuani was just getting perma invaded, just had to sack camps, wasn't able to do anything, and then he's just down like 40 CS. It just makes no sense to me.
The thing about TSM and like the drafting adaptation that you talked about, they do the priority drafting system, which I don't think is terrible. There's other ways to go about it now, but they have a list of champion for every role and list over on what they think is most OP, and they're just drafting by that. Like consistently prioritizing Aphelios, consistently prioritizing Nautilus, same thing for Aatrox. And I actually think it really works against them. I think kha'zix not a good Aphelios player. He's one of those champions where you need insane amount of games and really understand the champion before you pick it. And they're just still prioritizing it throughout the whole game. I think Bio also being on Nautilus was really weird. The game came down to teamfight so much, and FlyQuest is picking all these like double carry backline comps like Ori, Xayah, Azir, Varus. They should just take Braum at that point.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be so teamfight based, and also Braum works really well with Aphelios if you're going to stick by that.
I mean, I think that also they're not really intelligent about like who they're playing into. Like they don't draft as if like with the priority drafting system, it seems like they just have like priority picks in general, and they don't adapt it to the teams that they're playing against.
Yeah.
So with the priority drafting system, you're just not making a composition, you're just taking OP things based off of a list. It's not like, hey, because our first pick here.
Well, I mean, like obviously there's adaptations later on in the draft, but like the early picks are the ones that are going to be priority based.
So
and
Aatrox, Aphelios, Nautilus,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, things like that are things that are going to be priority based. But like if you understand this season and how FlyQuest is played, you would love to have Wild Turtle on Aphelios, like if you're TSM. Like, if you give them Aphelios, like, yeah, there are times where, like, you don't want to give Ornn Aphelios, right? To C9, when 100 Thieves kept on giving Ornn Aphelios to Licorice, who Licorice is, like, pretty much the role player on C9. They play pretty much aggressive junglers with tanky champions top, or champions that can at least engage top. And then they play that combined with Sven, who's just, like, a really solid AD carry that has very good positioning. Then giving Ornn Aphelios is really terrible. But if you're playing into a team that has Solo on it and has Wild Turtle on it, and you're giving them Ornn Aphelios, and it's like, okay, you take away Solo's, like, early laning prowess, and then you also give Wild Turtle something where he has to position well on. And Wild Turtle, his best picks are champions that he can survive when he gets engaged on, because his positioning is still a weakness of his. So that's why Xayah Rakan is so perfect for him, because not only can the Xayah buy him so much, or the Rakan can buy him so much time, the Xayah ulti is able to self-peel in a lot of situations. So I feel like this is, like, the big issue with drafting for TSM, is they don't adapt their draft enough. They draft in a more ideal world scenario than they need to.
Yeah.
And that showed with their non-changing bans of Ornn and Syndra that just left the rotating third ban, which most of the time was Set. So it was Set, and then the one time they didn't ban Set, it was Zoe, and FlyQuest picked Set.
Yep.
Towards the end, they were forced to ban Rakan, so that's why the Set pick became free. And yeah, speaking a little on the bans, I think it was so fucking weird that they banned Syndra all the way through.
Yeah, no, I think that was a horrible, horrible ban. That was something that I was saying on my co-stream. Is like, if Power of Evil gets Syndra, like, okay, make him win on it. Like, he's an okay Syndra player, I would say. I wouldn't say he's Bjergsen Syndra, right?
Bjergsen's the best Syndra.
Yeah, Bjergsen is by far the best Syndra, and then they're just banning Syndra on blue side. It's like, if they give you Syndra, you should just be able to stomp the fucking game.
Yeah. They must have lost confidence on it really hard.
I just don't even understand, like, I don't know what could have possibly gone on in scrims where they suddenly lost their Syndra priority. That, like, before Syndra was becoming a pick ban in, like, every team's draft, this was a champion that people were really afraid to give Bjergsen. Like, they were banning it every game against Bjergsen on both sides, because it was like, yeah, he's just too good at it. He'll solo win the game.
And then they realized Bjergsen Dardoch has no fucking synergy.
Yeah, which is crazy to me, because, like, isn't that the reason why Dardoch should be a good jungler for this team?
Yeah, and
like, this should be a topside focused team, and he should be able to gank mid and top and, like, make plays easily, and then he just looks like a completely different player.
The meme about Bjergsen ruining junglers is, like, Bjergsen starves jungler, and then he doesn't play well with he doesn't invade well with them. But in terms of, like, actual synergy between Bjerg and the jungle, Bjerg always has, like, good gank synergy. Like, that's one place the TSM jungler can always go to actually find some kills. And Dardoch's the first jungler on TSM to not be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the best jungler TSM has had in the last, like, few years has been Acadian. Like, yeah. That's just the reality of the situation.
It's
he's the only one that was actually able to, like, play with that team like a jungler.
The two viable junglers TSM has had are, I think, Amazing and Acadian.
Yep.
And a little
Svenskeren in his prime.
At times, really Svenskeren, yeah.
Oh. Weird. It's so fucking weird to see. I just what I don't understand is what happened to Dardoch's, like, mechanical prowess. Like, he's not super high rated in solo queue anymore, like he always was. Like, he was just one of those players that would play solo queue, and, like, even, like, normally in NA solo queue you kind of need a good attitude to climb, but even with bad attitude, he was always, like, a player that was, like, you know, top 20 on the ladder, like, whenever he was grinding. Now he's grinding. He's not performing well in solo queue, and then when I see him play on stage, he makes so many mechanical misplays that I would never think Dardoch would make before. You know, like, I always thought that Dardoch could improve in terms of, like, some of his, like, macro decisions in, like, the mid game, but I never thought he was bad at, like, team fighting, or he would just miss, like, skill shots. You know, I thought that was one of his strengths as a jungler, and now you just see such weird plays. Like, I don't know if you saw the Grog assault in I think it was game 2 around topside. Where he flashed the wall and then he E-ulted nothing, and it was like, man, that is really, like, I've never seen anything like that before from him. So I don't know if he's just not grinding the same way he used to, or maybe he's just past his prime. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but, like, it's really scary for me to see a player like that who's, like, supposed to be, like, the jungle savior of the region since season 6 just not be able to perform in these games.
I don't think a lot of people kept up with Dardoch in Academy, but
Well, no,
Dardoch
I did, and he looked bad in Academy, but I just chalk that up to him not really caring about Academy.
That's what most people, at a point, like if you don't care, like you also degrade in skill too.
Yeah, I guess.
If you're not constantly like playing at your best and like playing against people you think are challenging you and trying to get better, like you are going to get eventually.
But
worse.
I mean, there's examples of people that have been going to Academy, haven't tried their best, and then they come to LCS and they're still good. Like, so for example, someday he looked awful. Well, so like he was still like winning in Academy with 100 Thieves, but like he looked really awful in terms of his laning in Academy. He would get solo killed like almost every game. It became a meme. It's like he gets solo killed and then he takes over the game afterwards. So it looked like, oh shit, like this guy is maybe degrading in skill. And then when we came back into LCS, he was probably the best laner for the entire split in terms of like regular season.
Someday tried hard more than Dardoch did in Academy from what I understand of Someday. I honestly didn't watch Academy that much, but I do talk to 100 Thieves people. They still had him high regard and they didn't think of him as like someone that gave up. But yeah, Dardoch has a tendency to kind of, like fuck it. Like, just fuck the situation. And that's been him for last 3 years? So, yeah, if you're not playing at your best, if you're not always in playoffs, if you're not always like grinding, you're eventually going to decline. And I think that was just the trajectory Dardoch has been on.
Well, I mean, I think it was just the 1 year in Academy because even in 2018 with Echo Fox, I mean, he got third place with Echo Fox. He was one of the better performers on that team. He was probably still somebody I considered the best jungler in the league in 2018. So,
After the initial Echo Fox roster blew up, wasn't their team just going to shit?
I mean, it was going to shit like relatively, but I mean, the team was still like going to playoffs and taking TSM to like a 5-game series,
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like the team was just like complete ass and like it was like a bottom tier, like bottom feeder team. It just was like a quarterfinals team in summer.
Can't we acknowledge that in game 2 in game 4, sorry, the second win for TSM on the Elise, it felt like he was the catalyst. It felt like classic Dardoch, and I felt like it was so poetic and artistic that like, hey, it doesn't feel like TSM's going to win this series, but you saw him take over a game and just absolutely dominate like the matchup and really be the catalyst to get TSM into the Silver Scrapes game 5. Like that to me was like, damn, this is why you have Dardoch. Where has he been? And it feels so
but I mean, obviously TSM management didn't see it the same way, right? Because if that's how you perceived it, where it's like, okay, this is the player that's popping off, like give him the ball, like he's gonna take our final shot here. You would not put him on Sejuani.
Yeah.
They clearly just didn't perceive it like he was taking over like the game, or they didn't have confidence that he could do it again, at least.
I think game 4 was TSM's best game, but I also think it's overplayed a little in terms of like how well Dardoch played. Solo into that series so fucking hard. So what he did was he tried to go for a trade on Aatrox as the wave is pushing out. He had an option to just push out his wave completely and then get back into the lane, but he went for a trade instead. He fucked up his trade. So once you fuck up trades on Aatrox, you don't have cooldowns for a bit, and it gives Renekton openings to come in. And Broken Blade came in, chunked him completely. So now he's in a situation where he has to recall back, or he has to teleport back after recalling because the wave is pushing away. And then he walked into the brush he walked towards the brush where Dardoch is. He should 100% know jungler's top side. Like he has no reason to fucking go in the brush. He had Pantheon coming. His wave is pushing away. Just fucking wait for the Pantheon. And he died there. And he traded Flash while dying. So he has no reason, or he has no way to survive the dive. So yeah, TSM did play well overall as a team, and Dardoch looks good, but Solo just played so fucking bad that game.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, throughout the game, like Solo did make misplays, but like even throughout the game, like he still was like able to like, I mean, he went bot side, he hit the cocoon on the Callisto's jumping, like he was playing with confidence, and at least like, it looked like he was actually trying to make plays and he was doing something in the game. So
maybe
like being able to see that, like, and also I think
it was just more like the fuck it attitude, and he just was letting him do just letting it loose, letting it rip.
Yeah, no, I just liked seeing that out of him, and I think that even if game 4 there were mistakes that allowed him to pop off harder than he maybe deserved to pop off, I think that that's a confidence building experience. So like going into game 5, I feel like putting him on a champion that he's good at, and not the Sejuani, not the Jarvan, which he's relatively bad at. I think that would have been like something that would have been a way for TSM to win, because I think the jungle has that level of agency. Like when you're in a series as a jungler, like a 5-game series, and you start like popping off in a game, like the amount of confidence you go into the next game with is like unmatched. Like you just feel like you're going to be able to like find kills, etc. And I feel like that is very important to recognize and to like play around.
How did TSM end up at this point? No synergy between Bjerg and Dardoch. I think for me, when I look at the series, people just talk about like the bad adaptation and the bad draft. But going into the series, like they just have no fucking tools at that point. So I think the entire season was a failure, and this is just an example of it. Like, and people just dive way too much into like, why is TSM so bad right now? Like, what is wrong with like, just take a look at this draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think there must be like some issue with like players' comfort, and I think that in some way it has to relate to like coaching of this team. Like, I don't understand how you can have this team and end up with this identity. Like, unless the players are all just like complete pieces of shit and they're just like, nah, fuck you, coach. Like, I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want. Like, maybe if that's the situation, there's nothing the coach can do. But I just think that this has to be a poorly coached team with how the drafting goes as well.
So I know we're both friends of Peter, and it's going to sound a little weird, but this doesn't look like a Peter coach team.
Yep.
Because Peter's is all about enabling junglers and like making sure the jungler is comfortable. I remember like one of the most memorable quotes from TSM Legends, like, you're not a slave to the laners. You should do what you want. Like, he was saying that to Acadian. I would imagine he would say similar things to Dardoch. You normally don't change like how you coach.
No, he's been the same way. Like ever since 2014 when he was coaching LMQ. He's a jungle centric coach. Because he's a Chinese coach, and Chinese playstyle is very aggressive, early game centric, right? So if you have early game aggressive centric playstyle, the most important person in the early game to get advantages is the jungler. Like, he's the person that's not on the fucking map. So why does a team coached by a jungle centric coach have bad mid and jungle synergy? TSM has that always decent mid and jungle synergy. They've got that draft downs where you just like have to draft like tank junglers and shit like that. It's like, yeah, we need to have like all these like fucking like
checklist.
Yeah, we have this checklist of like, this is what we need to fucking have on our team comp. Like, we can't play team comps without tanks, guys. And it's like, you watch C9 play, it's like, how many times do you see them just play like a team comp with like an aggressive like playmaking jungler, and people are like, yeah, I mean, Gragas is like an AP champion. Gragas is not a tank. Yeah, it's engage. When you don't have a tank, you have to play differently. You don't need a tank every single game in order to fucking play the game. And I feel like TSM is like, okay, we need at least some form of engage on our team, and we need a tank on our team. And it's like, well, if BB doesn't want to play that shit, the person that's going to actually have to play it every single game is Dardoch. Whereas when you look at other teams like G2, for example, they play plenty of games where they have like aggressive top laner. Like, they do run tanks at times, but they also play games where they have aggressive top laner with a jungler like Pantheon that's like pseudo tanky, and they end up like just having the tools to play the game where they don't need to like run into the enemy team like front to back every single team fight. Like, you can play 1-3-1. You can play like champions that can flank, that can engage, that don't have necessarily like tank kits. And it seems like TSM is so tunneled into like Jarvan, Sejuani, like engage tanky junglers. Like, we need to have that on our team for everyone else to function.
What are the meta tank champions that would have been available, since Set and Ornn were just getting banned away every single time?
I mean, we saw Bwipo play Malphite in Europe, and it looked really good into the Aatrox when he played it.
You can play Poppy if you really want to.
You can play Poppy if you want to. You can play Maokai, which is like probably, so like the top three I would say would be like Ornn, Maokai, and then Malphite. And then after that you have Poppy potentially. Go from there.
Yeah. Bjergsen, Maokai. That was a thing this season. Got to make sure we check off the checklist here.
The thing is, to touch a little bit on last year also, when they started running 6-man, that felt really weird to me, because Tony's normally not about 6-man. Tony's about having like a really tight 5-man squad. And then eventually we found out that was like Part stepping in. I wouldn't be surprised like if we find out similar things about maybe not even Parts, like someone else stepped in and like overruled Peter or something. Because Yeah, I can't make sense of what's going on with TSM.
Yeah,
and the
that was
decisions they're
my
making.
point. My point was, hey, look, here's a second coach, both that you both know personally, both their and their style as well, and how it contrasts what TSM is putting out, not only in the outcome, but in the draft / preparation. So, again, because we talked about it a couple days ago about, hey, what's going on with TSM? Why, as an organization, why does this always seem to happen in these clutch moments where it's not even, the players don't even feel like they're being put in the best position to succeed? And, again, Parth, Reggie, who else steps in? Parth and Reggie. Those are the two that normally step in. Unless Lane is starting to step in now. That to me just seems like something that needs to be talked about in the offseason.
I mean, I can't even speculate on things like that personally, but realistically, there has to be some type of like coaching / management issue if your team ends up with similar play style every single time. Like, even if it's player force, so let's say Bjergsen only wants to play with certain types of junglers, etc. Like, then it like that's still a coaching issue where the coach has to be able to like explain and get the mid laner to buy in to his philosophy of like, hey, there are times where your strategy or your game philosophy makes sense. There's also times where like we can't draft like that because it puts our team at too much of a disadvantage, and they need to like be able to adapt to those things.
Who gets changed here, Loco? Is it management or is it player, or coach, or is it player here?
It's TSM will always be coach first.
I don't think they can change anyone right now going into summer. Like, who the fuck are they going to randomly find? And also, it's incredibly hard to like hire new people during the Rona season.
Yeah, true.
Well, if they need a world-class AD carry that's available, sitting on the bench, probably inexpensive, there is definitely somebody. If they're going jungler, I don't know any junglers that would be free available.
We can talk. I know you said it as a meme, but we can talk about Kabe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kabe's just bad right now. He's not bad. He's underwhelming.
He's underwhelming. I like that better, because I didn't think he played terribly. That game one, he got to where he needed to be, but then after that, when I can't remember another time where I was like, yes, Kabe. This like he didn't have a Dardoch moment where it was like, oh shit, this whole game is Dardoch, or it felt like it was Dardoch being proactive. We never had that with Kabe.
I mean, he's lost his strengths, which make him just like a very mediocre player. His strength was always that he just was very good at positioning, and in late game team fights, he knew how to do like the max amount of damage without dying.
And
like,
he was clutch. He wouldn't make mistakes in late game team fights.
But he's like not good late game anymore. So
I think it's a little bit on the champions. I know he's also bad on Xayah, but really him playing Aphelios is like the trollest shit ever to me. Because there's times where he had a fully stacked Chakram at Baron and he wasn't being aggressive with it. There's times where 3 people are grouped up and he's not using Infernum ult. He just doesn't get the most out of this champion, and he played it 4 times out of 5 games in that series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that Aphelios is one thing, but like you referenced, I mean, in the previous series on Xayah, he was getting outperformed by Cody's son. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about Kabe. I would just expect him to be able to like be more proficient in the team fighting phase. Like, I wasn't expecting good laning like out of TSM. I thought that they would have a very defined playstyle based off like how their player strengths were, and they were able to execute that for like most of the split. Problem is that even after they would execute their early game, etc., and they would get the players that need to get rolling. So they would play around Broken Blade, they'd play around Bjergsen. Eventually, like, even though Bjergsen wouldn't receive ganks just in terms of like when he would roam, like they would do things that were good for Broken Blade and Bjergsen. When they would get strong, TSM would still have many moments where both those players were throwing. And then the other thing is like the bot lane was never like this stable force where it's like, oh yeah, they're just farming, they're even, like they're they're getting like very minor advantages over just like time, but they're not doing anything super crazy. And then when it gets into team fights, like Kabe can really just go ham. Just, it never felt like that was the reality of the players. It's like Dardoch's early game was worse than you would expect. Kabe's late game was worse than you would expect. Biofrost looked very like sketchy in terms of like playmaking. He would just get caught way too much. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the those are like the 3 players that end up being role players in this team. I feel like it should be like 2 strong soul laners. Like the 2 players that should be like the pop off players on TSM should be Broken Blade and Bjergsen with like a little bit of Dardoch sprinkled in there, and then the bot lane should be like super stable, like never making mistakes, like always just like knowing their role in the game to win. It just didn't happen.
Yeah. I also don't like playing around Broken Blade that much because just inherently, like playing around top lane right now is so fucking hard to do.
I really don't think it is when you have like mid laners that can dive, etc. Like I think other teams are able to play around top side pretty well.
I think like the best top lane teams, like Someday with 100 Jeeves, and somewhat, I don't watch LEC as much. This is talking more about what other people have told me. LEC with Alfari, like they don't find the right kind of success, even with like the best top laner in the region.
I mean, they don't play around Alfari in Origin though. Like that's like a misconception. I think that Alfari just is able to win lane 1v1 a lot of the time. I think that the best top lane team in Europe is Fnatic. I think Fnatic is the best about playing around top lane, actually, like in terms of like sending jungle attention up there, being able to like like play through him early and then watch Bwipo just carry after he gets resources throughout the map.
I mean, even if Fnatic's able to do it, like just looking at the meta, there aren't as hard carry champions, and Blade of the Ring King came pretty late in the meta where it's like worthwhile for top laners to have farm early. And champions like Set and Ornn makes it really hard to play around top lane due to those champions being really tanky and really being good at like anti-dive, like Ornn just bashing his head into the turret and knocking up everyone. And then Set also just, Set with his W, Set with his E becomes really hard to dive. So yeah, just I don't know. I don't think meta right now suits playing around top lane, especially for a team like TSM where they had Bjerg and Dardoch. They could have just easily been the mid and jungle team.
Yeah, well, they couldn't do either, clearly. So I guess it just doesn't matter. It's not like they like tried to play around top and they failed. Like eventually they just weren't even playing towards anything. They're just playing like to scale
meta champions.
Yeah, they're playing meta champions.
Play the most contested meta champions. I'm pretty sure Aatrox is the most contested top lane pick, right behind Set. Ophelia is definitely the most contested AD, and Nautilus probably number 1, or Tom Kinch number 1.
Yep.
Logan, you said it would be too early to take a look at making changes here for TSM. Why is that? Why is that?
Who did they get? Who did they replace? Give me an example. I think it's impossible right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they could potentially do coaching changes.
There's no. I mean,
obviously, like the most obvious one would be like doing something with Academy.
I actually
putting Spica in instead of Dardoch. Doing that type of thing could be an option.
The hilarious thing is, last year they were so willing to switch out junglers, and this year, when they're struggling with Dardoch and they don't like the things he's bringing to the table, they just wrote it out.
Yeah.
I think that those are 2 different players, though. I think, 2 different sets of players with Grig and Acadian compared to Grig, Acadian, and Spica.
You were willing to put Spica in playoffs with like him having like 1 game played in regular season. What they did last season was way more extreme, and during a way more important period, like summer leading up to Worlds. Like the thing they could have done this split, putting in Spica halfway through the season, would have made a lot more sense than whatever the fuck they did last year.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, you take Dardoch out, he's probably done. Like you made an investment.
Acadian and Grig were done too. Acadian was done the moment he got benched.
Yep.
Acadian was done the moment the team didn't double down on, hey, you're the better jungler, you deserve the starting spot. Great job in spring. Have a long career here.
Yeah, no, I think it has to be like, I mean, the problem is that they have like imports, so they can't even go with like they can't have Treats play, for example, because he's an import, so they break the import rule then. So I think it's hard for them because of like how their academy is, but I think that Spica is like the number 1 thing you look to like get time. Also, like Spica is somebody who's now played academy for over a year. And he's a player that, people kind of view him as like how Blabber will be. He's kind of like the next Blabber. Yeah. So.
Ooh.
And also, Spica has been with Peter for such a long time too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been with Peter during Echo Fox era, so there's just like Peter should know if Spica's ready or not. Peter should be also comfortable with Spica. Peter should.
I don't think that Peter gets the choice. Like, I really don't think Peter gets the choice and things like that.
Yeah, and
that's what it feels like.
And for people that don't understand why, it's because the general manager usually is the one that signs the contract, gets the players, and then there's pressure on the coach to perform with the players.
So I had a conversation with LS on his stream about this, last night, just like impromptu. And it's so annoying to me how much pull general managers have in North America. Like, one of the biggest flaws, I think, of our region is that the people that put together rosters are not the people that know the most about, like, player skill or, like, or just know, like, what roster would potentially perform the best. Like, the people that are in the position to hire players are people that don't do the scouting themselves, that are kind of going for, like, big names and things like that, etc.
Parsons is a great scout. He got Licorice.
Sure. I mean, he's a great scout, right? Like, he scouted Cobby from EU. The thing about EU scouting is, like, I'm pretty sure that if Cobby was still in EU, kha'zix still would be better than him, right? But I don't think that kha'zix is on anyone's fucking radar in terms of, like, coming to, like, NA to these teams. Like, that's the whole problem, is there's so much talent out there. And my favorite pickup that I think TSM's done in the last few years has been Broken Blade. I think for getting a completely like, you have to remember, Broken Blade was a complete fucking rand picked up from like the Turkish league that no one fucking watched. And if you look at, like, his performance over, like, the last year and a half, he's been one of the best parts of TSM for sure. He's most certainly been one of the best parts of TSM. Like, he was going to be MVP of finals if Sven didn't in spring, and they were going to win the tournament. They're going to win in spring.
Even then, I will say Broken Blade had a lot of suitors during that offseason anyways. Yeah. It wasn't just like TSM dug him out of the dirt. A lot of people, especially LEC teams, knew he was good and contested for him.
Yeah, but that's a hit. How many, what's the ratio of hits? And you can almost say, like, home runs, because you far minor.
Think about
far below average, though. TSM's far below average in terms of home runs.
Yeah, and they're far below average in terms of, like, being able to, like, analyze how good current talent is. Like, they get a bunch of people that are, like, super high, like for example, Mithy. Like, Mithy is not somebody at the end of season 7 that you should look at and be like, yeah, like, this guy is a mechanical beast, right?
Ziben Mithy is like,
yeah, they got it because they're like, they're the best in the West, etc.
It's a miracle that they failed in TSM, I feel like.
I mean, I think that watching Mithy, I definitely felt like Mithy was on the decline in terms of personal skill in 2017
when they brought him in.
Like towards the end
of results just don't match up, even on decline. Like Mithy and Ziben, like, look at Ziben. Like, the moment he gets off of TSM, like, he's doing completely fine. And even Mithy, like, when he got off of TSM and he went back to Europe, it was better than the shit we saw in TSM.
He looked better in spring, and then he looked, like, really awful in summer. Like, I don't know. I just think that in general, the way that they just always go for big names. It's like Yellowstar at the end of 2015. Like, Yellowstar was most certainly the worst part of Fnatic in terms of being an individual player in 2015. And then TSM has this idea of, like, no, we got Bjergsen on our team. We need a shot caller. We need a player that's like the shot caller. Who's going to be the shot caller? Oh, it's Yellowstar, dude. He's the shot caller for Fnatic. It's like, what the fuck is this archaic idea of having a shot caller?
I think
who's C9 shot caller? Who's C9 shot caller?
It was high at the time.
No. Who is C9 shot caller now?
No, everyone gives information, makes calls.
Yes. Who's the shot caller of G2?
Everyone makes calls. Yes. Having a singular shot caller.
Yes, that's not a thing. Having a shot caller is not a thing. Having a shot caller was a thing in season 4. Having a shot caller now is not a thing. So people just, like, have this idea of, like, we need a shot caller. Get Mithy in there. He's going to shot call the team to victory. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Like, and then they got Smoothing in 2018 the same way, right? It's like, we need a vocal support shot caller. That's, like, what they've been fucking looking for the whole time. And then eventually they're like, maybe that isn't a thing. Let's get Biofrost. I'm like, finally they've doubled down on, like, getting, like, other people. But it's like Biofrost wasn't, like, this insane, like, talented support. at the time. Like he spent 2 years on CLG, did pretty much nothing on his tenure in CLG.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't go for like high value like young pickups. They have this like weird idea of how the game needs to be played.
So normally in League of Legends, you can't decide on what roster you want or like what kind of you can't decide exactly who you want, and you can't even decide like the style of player you want. You just get whoever's best available. And I think that's kind of a problem within like the league scene, but also why it's so bad for TSM is they can't get a good functioning core. I think it's really fucking important to build like a core system of players and like have 2 to 3 players you can always build around and you know how the play style is going to be. TL had that with Doublelift, Xmithy, and Impact. Impact and Doublelift together make a lot of sense because you can always play towards bot side. And you also have Xmithy there. He really facilitates the team. I always think that was like the core of TSM. Or not TSM, excuse me, TL. And same thing with G2, Yankos and Perks, like Perks and Caps play similarly. But when you break the core of it, like the players don't function as well. And if you go back and look at the years for TSM, the only time they've been successful is when they had strong cores and they couldn't get that core of players together where the play styles make sense, where people play together, people want to play together. The shot calling also works. Like after Doublelift Bjergsen, I feel like they never had like 2 to 3 players where all the play styles like synergize with each other and it makes sense and they're playing together with it.
Well, wasn't also part of the reason why Doublelift moved on was that they were too similar where it's like, hey, we only have so many
Doublelift
resources.
didn't move on.
No,
Doublelift didn't move on.
TSM moved on from Doublelift, right? Yeah, and I thought it was
And
because
TSM,
they were like, hey, look, we have too many resources, and although we want to play aggressive and make that work, we're gonna put those resources into Bjergsen.
no, they thought they were hard stuck Worlds. They thought they were hard stuck winning an A and being stuck at Worlds. I don't think they viewed it as like inherently the way we play the game is wrong.
Gotcha. A couple of Twitch chat points I thought were pretty good. The issues that face GMs are issues that happen in all competitions, not just specific to League of Legends. And there has yet to have been a general manager that really just pulls all the strings perfectly, you know, making sure that the players that you pull together fit exactly the way that it should.
I don't even know who the general manager of like C9 is. And
They have
rosters.
They have this old Asian dude. Fuck, I forgot his name, but they do have a GM. But
that's the whole point. Is like I don't even know who that guy is. Like it seems
GM?
like Jack and the fucking players like kind of like think of who's good. And
Jack,
Reaper, like Jack defers to Reaper.
Yeah, but Jack and Reaper act as GM for C9.
Okay,
That's the thing. And also, for interestingly enough, for G2, Perks acts as a GM.
Yeah, no, exactly. But who is this idea of GMs making rosters? I think is so fucking horrible.
It's horrible right now, but in the future, it should be what it is. Like
so
that's gonna
who
be.
Is?
No,
who
because
is the
the
one
people
that's
that are GMs are like don't even know about like
that's the problem right now. Though the people that are GMs aren't as qualified as they should be. But once they're qualified and they're doing it as a full-time job, it should be fine.
But I don't even think that I don't think they'll ever know more than like the people that are actively like coaching or playing.
So you think coaches should be the one that make that decision?
Yes, I think coaches and players should like all be in on it, like, and then they should be like deciding who they play with. I think that's the best way to do it.
A good GM makes it collaborative. Like he's not like just making the decision on his own. He's talking to his coach. He's talking to the players. I just think, yes, NA GMs aren't getting the best results right now, but that doesn't inherently mean like GM system is flawed or like GM as a role is flawed. It's just like they're doing a terrible job of it.
The people that get to like be GMs are people that like have experience and that are like professional and that are going to represent the organization well.
Mm-hmm. But people are saying it's such a stupid comment. A GM should be competitive in solo queue, but that's fucking bullshit. Like the other thing that's really missing is like NA has terrible scouting. Like GM should know a lot about the players. Stuff he doesn't know, he should get through scouting. And in terms of how the team fits together, in terms of how the players work with each other, like that's something GM knows and GM talks to his players about, his coaches about, to make sure it's actually working the way he thinks it's going to work.
I mean, I don't know. I think that like the way that I see like GMs come in, it's like Papa Smithy ends up being the GM, right? And it's like, okay, Papa Smithy is the GM. What qualifies him as like a GM to like how much experience does he have within teams? That's what I want to know. Like, because I only knew him as a caster for years, right? And I think he had like a good idea of casting. I think he had like a good idea about the game for a caster. But I would think that somebody like LS would be more knowledgeable about the game than Papa Smithy easily, regardless of community perception. And I feel like because Papa Smithy is well spoken, calm, he looks like somebody who would be a good GM, etc. Like he ends up being the GM of 100 Thieves. When that happens, you end up with Ryoma as your mid laner.
I think they ended up with Ryoma because of the budget. They definitely looked at other mid lanes, and Papa Smithy didn't pick Ryoma because of like, I think this guy's the most skilled prospect out of everyone we could go with. They had really high tier Korean mid laners they could have gone with, but due to the communication and due to the price, they decided to go with Ryoma.
I mean, I doubt that, and from like what DeMonte said, like I doubt that the people that are just purely better than Ryoma in competitive play, so DeMonte, Pubulter, etc. Like, how are those guys not getting jobs? Like, yeah, even if you are fucking, like, I don't think that Pubulter's holding out for like massive contracts and things like that. I don't think that's what's happening with DeMonte as well. And both those players looked way better than they looked way better last year. Even this current year, I think Pubulter played better than Ryoma. I don't know. I think that people just have this idea of like a general manager looking professional and like a certain idea of what a general manager should, like, in theory be. It's like a professional guy that comes in with a suit, well dressed, like older, like, you know, well respected, etc. And they're like, yeah, that guy looks like a GM. It's like, what the fuck? Does that necessarily mean you're a better GM? Like, that's not how people pick a GM though. Like, and also, then why does every GM fit into that like same type of stereotype?
What, like, well suited up? Like, cause you're,
yeah, like why is like Part the GM? Why is Papa Smithy the GM? Like, why do we not have like, it's like a young person put into that role if like they could actually qualify at the best? Like, I think that somebody that would be better at being a fucking general manager is like, it's like one of these people that like ended up being a coach. Like a player that ended up being a coach, I think could end up being a GM.
GM's a middle management position where you have executives up top and executives below. So you definitely need people, or you need people skills. And you also, like, age is also, you need experience, you need people skills, you need knowledge within League of Legends.
So that's something completely different. So let's say you have that. Why does the general manager need to decide on rosters and things like that?
Because the coach might get jettisoned, and then you're left with the roster that you didn't create. That's a lot of the reason why general managers are the ones that,
and that's what that, like, maybe GM can fucking
in traditional sports. That's why, like, the coach can get fired.
Sure, the GM can get fired too. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but GMs usually have more of a leeway because they're overseeing all of the operations. So a lot of the time, coaches and GMs work in tandem, but that's not always the case. That is not always the case because GMs
so why is the GM the person that's creating the vision for the team in League of Legends?
It's not
they
just
don't
in
know
League
the
of
most.
Legends.
Well, I mean, I'm specifically saying in League of Legends because there are so many more like resources. Like, yeah, a GM in sports has like a bunch of people that do fucking scouting, so like their decision becomes much easier because the information they have is so much more.
That's the model that we're trying to move to, though. Like,
yeah, but that's not happening. So why do these? So like until that becomes a reality, why do the GMs have so much like power over rosters and things like that, and not the players and the coaches and the people that actually know about the situation?
Because I would guess the management positions in esports have very strong traditional sport background or have traditional sport investments, so they do want to move towards a similar model that works in traditional sports. And even though scouts aren't there, it's like GMs can't get good.
So then those people are ignorant to the reasons why a GM position actually functions well in sports, and they don't actually understand what they're coming in from. They don't understand their own stuff well, and they just have a lot of money. That's what it is.
That's been the reality of NA. Like, we don't do stuff well, but we have a lot of money.
Okay, great. That's not how you win, though. That's a huge problem. So that goes back to like the reason that LS and I had this like discussion and why we both agreed on like this being a huge issue within NA. It's like, okay, we have a lot of money. We don't know how to put it to use. We need to put it to use in a better way.
I think GM positions should stay, and I think people should get better at GMs, and we should invest more into scout, and we should invest way more into amateur and academy. I think that's one of the biggest problems with NA. Like, we don't have good crop of talent because we invest so little into it. And if we don't have scouts and if we're not making good decisions because we don't know enough about players, then that's something we can invest into also, like make sure we have scouts. But I don't think GM as a role is inherently flawed.
This is a good point by another Twitch chat guy, just because I forgot about it. In soccer, the head coach is called the manager because they also are like the GM. So that it is a little bit more of the structure that you were talking about, Dom. Like the coach also sets the tone for everything. And to be honest, I just think there are very few people that are qualified to do
I think that you should grow into GM position within the org in esports.
Yes, but we're trying to speed it up too fast.
We're just hiring people and we're like, yeah, you're the GM. Like, there's the reason why I brought up all these examples is because the teams that have the best like rosters are people that you don't even know who the fucking GM is. No one knows who the GM is of G2. Like, maybe some people do. Like, I'm sure that they have the position, and there's, like, going to be some guy in Twitch chat, yeah, dude, this guy is the GM. Who's the GM of Cena? Oh, I think it's some old guy. It's like, oh, who the fuck is this old? Oh, yeah, some old guy? Oh, some old Asian guy. Oh, that's a little bit more specific, Loco. Now I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, no one knows who the fuck these people are. Who's the GM of Team Liquid when they made this roster? Steve fucking put the people together. He's the owner. Like, who is the actual GM? Who's the fucking GM of the teams that actually end up performing? Like, no one actually knows, bro.
I will say,
Crebo is not the GM of G2.
He was the GM of G2.
He is not the GM of G2.
Functionally, he wasn't. Like, I do think like functionally it was always Perks and Ocelot, but he did have the title of GM of G2.
Who is currently the GM of G2?
Currently, I actually have no idea.
No one has any fucking idea, bro. Like, that's the whole point.
So I think the worry is, right? Look how few people have it right that way. And if you have it right that way, that's great. But once, like, let's say League is here for another 5 years, is Perks going to still be performing at that level for another 5 years? Or do you end up with a situation like, Bjergsen, who's still very great, one of the best mid laners in North America, but now this team isn't functioning quite the same way. But now Ocelot has, and the brand G2 has tied their boat to Perks. And if Perks needs to move on, needs to get benched, needs to move into coaching role, and he doesn't want to, but this is the formula that you've used. Now you've like curtailed the long-term growth of this team, of this organization. I think that's one of the fears. It's working great now. He's fantastic. Perks is one of the best mid laners.
Yes, and that's why, but that's like why you need to be learning from the people that are actually functioning as your GMs. If Perks is functioning as a GM, like, it's not like, Perks left, now we have no clue what the fuck to do anymore. It should be like, Perks left, like, what did we learn from the way that Perks conducted rosters? Like, let's fucking, like, discuss with the players. Like, and it's not like Perks is just gonna fucking randomly leave and you have no idea, like, what's gonna happen. So, like, you discuss with the players, you discuss with the coach, like, what the best course of action is, and you develop it, like, as a fucking team.
And I don't think we're disagreeing on much. Like, right now, GMs aren't good, but it's like a flaw of NA. But in the future, like, GM should be good, and GM as a role isn't something that's like inherently flawed to begin with. Like, or at least that's how I'm understanding the situation. That's my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I look at teams that are successful, it seems like it's coaches and players that are deciding on rosters.
Well,
you don't think it will be?
They want to play with.
You don't think it will be so in the future, or you think it's just going to stay that way? Like the best.
I think that it's like I feel like the way it should go is like you bring people into your organization that like have the mentality of winning, and they graduate into like the GM position by like proving.
What if you can't get those people? What if you need to hire from outside?
Then you hire people that have done the similar role in League of Legends.
Let's take.
You don't hire some dude who's like, I'm the general manager from like a Dota 2 team. Like, I'm gonna be a great League of Legends. Like, you hire people within the scene that like have this
the storm
skill.
Let's use a different team for example. Let's use CLG. Who the hell is going to graduate from CLG and become a GM because of a
their current GM? Their current GM, I think, is to get Tofo.
Yes. But in Dom's example, like a team like that doesn't seem to have like someone that would turn into that, right?
Dom's
And a roster
example-
that might not even make it.
Dom's example was if you don't have that, then get someone from other teams that have shown that success. And I think that's the trajectory that CLG needs to be if they can't get top, or for some reason Tafo doesn't stay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that CLG has a great GM based on them, the roster they put together. Getting Crown when he's hard stuck diamond in fucking Korea, like it just makes no sense. It's like almost like comical at this point to bring up CLG. Like I don't even want to argue this point anymore if we're gonna be talking about CLG. Like
Yeah.
it's just so like it's like yeah, man, Tafu, yeah, he's a great like who the fuck I don't know who that fucking guy is. I hope that he's not the guy that hired Crown, because if you're trying to double down on Crown being a good fucking pickup in the offseason when he's literally hard stuck diamond with thousands of fucking games in Korea, and then he comes into NA, shits the bed, immediately goes back to Korea, no one fucking wants him, he's in Challenger, like I can't even argue this anymore.
Regarding the Crown part, I mean, I was someone that vouched for Crown, and I thought Crown would be good this season. Before this season happened, did you think Crown was going to be bad?
I didn't have enough information to make the decision.
I didn't think Crown
Like
was going to be.
I didn't think he was going to be bad, but if I'm being the GM with that level of information that I had last season about like players' current skill and things like that, that's fucked. Like I should have nowhere close to the same idea as the people that are actually hiring. Like they shouldn't be hiring based off talk shows and hearsay. Like they should actually be looking at the fucking players individually. They should be able to like bring Crown in and look at his current level of play. Watch him play the fucking game and see how good he is. Talk to people within your team and be like, hey, like, what do you think of this player? Have your coaches, have your scouts, like, invest in this stuff.
That's a problem in itself where you talked about bringing someone in, like players like Crown, like imports that you get, whether it be European or whether it be Korean.
You know what you do? You ask your fucking players that played against Crown last season. You're like, how good do you think Crown was? You think he was a beast? Like, okay.
Most of them would say yes. I mean,
You think so?
You don't think so? You don't, like last year, where do you think Crown placed?
I mean,
3-4.
in terms of like the people that actually fucking
4.
play the game, like I have no idea. Like from the outside perspective, he looked good, but you don't know how he's actually functioning within the team. And like players have different perception of who's actually good.
So you think players would have said last year Crown isn't that great?
So for example, yeah, probably, yes.
We can go
Crown,
back. And, like,
okay,
talk some mid lane.
so yes, and last year people thought Crown was worse than we did.
Who were people?
Like people that I talked to within the scene, like so just like yeah, like players. So other players, like I don't have to name every single player that I talked to, but like there's certain players that people have respect for still that might be looking bad right now. Perfect example is Ruin. Every LCS top laner I talk to says Ruin's actually good. He's just been fucking intic.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm not sure who you talked to, and I don't think like I don't want to get into who did you talk to, who didn't you talk to, but I think general consensus, even within players, should have been that Crown is good. Like who else was like good on that Optic team? Like how the hell are they getting results with just Crown and Meteos?
What results, bro? They got like last seed playoffs and then got 3-0'd?
For a team that like considering who they had around them, I think those are results. Considering like who was on Optic, I think those are definite results.
That's like Golden Guardians
Arrow.
Results
It's like
season.
Arrow and who is it? Dokla, Gate, and then Meteos Crown. Those are results. I think
big.
bigger Gate, same difference.
I mean, I think that the whole point here that people are missing is that like you're not staying up to date with it. Yeah, just because he was good last season doesn't mean he's currently good.
Yeah,
but
you have to, like,
people don't know that, and like it's impossible.
But that's why scouting is important.
Yeah, let's.
Like you judge people on the current level of play. Like
I'm asking you, like how the scout would know. Like the scout sees what happened last split. He's not able to try out Crown because Crown's in Korea. So even if they had the world's best scout, like he would be able to tell off.
So
of, like,
what you do is you'd be able to watch Crown's perspective of a game.
Mm-hmm.
So you watch Crown
from last
play.
year.
So you tell Crown to turn on a private stream and you watch him play and you analyze his gameplay, like with coaches, not from last year, like in a solo queue game, etc.
So you watch his solo queue game and then you try to determine if he's good or not.
You determine like how he's actually playing the game. Like there are things that you can look at from a gameplay perspective to measure what a player is good at and what they're bad at that are consistent throughout. Like it doesn't matter where they're fucking playing. It could be a 1v1 even. It could be anything. Like,
I think
you
that
watch how a player
that can
plays.
give you like a perceptive, that can give you like a viewpoint, but it can't give you the complete information. And what happened last year and like how he played last year is going to be way stronger of a pull than like any kind of solo queue point of view you can read.
So the reason why I pushed this a little further here, especially with you two, is because I think both of you are that mix that I just said. Uniquely.
Yeah. I mean, look,
qualified.
everyone's fucking stupid about this shit. Like, if you've never worked in a fucking team, you've never been in a team environment, you don't know shit, and you should never have your fucking opinion even considered on this type of stuff. The people that need to be like, the people that understand these types of concepts are the people that have been within teams and are actually smart about judging players' skill accurately at the moment. Like, you need to have actually like seen this type of stuff, and you need to have people that actually understand every single position on a micro level to be able to even know if the player can function mechanically on the level that you need to perform in LCS. So it's like, this is the type of thing where it's almost worthless to have like this discussion, because it's like who are we even having this discussion for? Like, what is the point? Like, I know I'm right about all this shit. So it's like, what the fuck do I even need to have this discussion for? Like, am I trying to prove to you guys that like I know how a fucking team operates? Like, I've functioned as a GM for teams in terms of like identifying and picking up talent. You know why Steve always let me fucking choose? Like, you know why there was this whole Dom's a good talent scout thing? And it was like when we picked up Bunny Fufu instead of like fucking our coach trying to pick somebody random. Who do you think performed better for Curse? Bunny Fufu or Special when we picked him up? Why do you think that is? Because the people that are playing the fucking game that see these fucking people every day know who's actually good and know who isn't. It's so fucking stupid having this conversation, actually.
And the whole point.
It's like I've done this myself. Like, I have experience picking up fucking players. Like, where do you think we got Phoenix from? Phoenix was so good from the position we were in. We had no one, dude. We were trying out Yahoo.com, NY Jackie, and I got Phoenix from fucking solo queue. This is the situation that I've lived in.
You think there's no other ways to scout other than being a player and experiencing the game? Like, I can see legitimacy from your point.
There's other ways to scout, but like the scouts actually have to be going out there and watching these people fucking play. That's my whole point. You can't just pick people based off fucking namesake or like what you think they look like in a different region. Every single pickup that we had that was like, oh, this player's a big name player from another region that we didn't actually investigate and try to really understand, every single player like that was a failure that I've ever seen. Every single one. Why do you think Piglet turned out so fucking bad? Like, this is the problem.
He was terribly mismanaged on the team.
No, he wasn't terribly mismanaged on the team. Like,
you don't think TL mismanaged Piglet
from playing with him?
Yeah,
I think that he was so much of an issue it was impossible to manage him. So it's like, what does that mean, mismanaged? How could you manage him? How can you manage somebody like that? No one fucking knew who he was, bro. Like, no one knew who he was. No one had personal accounts of how he was in a team environment. No one talked to like SKT and saw like what the issues were. Like, there was nothing that happened like to give any context to like who he was as a player. No one actually watched him play. Mm-hmm. People just were like, yeah, he's a world champion. We can get Piglet. Like, this guy is like obviously good.
I think there are like examples of like mis-scouting, like even like the Brox's situation for TL. Like, they should have just stayed with like Smithy.
Do you think they watched Broxa play? Do you think that any of TL actually went and watched Broxa currently play and watched his pro view from last year? Do you think anyone watched his pro view from last year to see how he was like panning his camera, like how he was taking information? I
hope to fucking God that they did.
I don't think so. I
hope to fucking God before they picked up Broxa, they watched Pro View.
So the reason why I brought all this up is because we got on the topic of TSM and why they cannot fucking figure out who's going in. Like, who is the best pickup since Broken Blade? And you two, uniquely qualified with your experience, with the way that you scout as GMs, would be qualified, I think, to do it. And there are two very different ways right here. Two very different ways. And so Parth has been there for a long time, has that experience. And then I also wanted to, let's pull out of TSM because we've been talking about TSM the whole time and they're a dead horse. Is the GM or whatever the move is, whoever gets the credit for it, for the move for solo on FlyQuest, right? Like, they look like a different team now.
No, the thing about solo is Solo is an argument against GMs.
Why is that?
he didn't have a team.
That's
Solo did not have
no one actually watched him play, bro. No one.
Solo did not have a team. That is an argument against GMs.
People that are GMs don't know the game well enough to actually sit down, watch a pro view, and like determine the current level of a player's skill. I doubt it. I would guarantee that people that actually watch the fucking game, like me, LS, people that put hours into actually watching and breaking down footage, and like people like you that actually coached before and understand the game on that level, I guarantee you we could make better assessments of player skill than the people that are in the GM roles. That is the issue. That's what I've been talking about the entire time.
We literally called, or I call Solo deserving of LCS spot. Like, Solo was someone that should have been.
And I said I fucking hate him, and I think he's bad in a team environment, and I still thought he would be an upgrade over people.
Like, I think that the part.
That's the problem.
We agree with the problem. Maybe the part we differ on is like the requirement of a GM, or like if it's a role that needs to be needed. I do think in the future, like it's a role that needs to be needed, but we don't disagree on the fact that
they're incompetent currently.
Yeah, current GMs don't either have the skill set or the experience.
They don't have the skill set or the experience. The people that are experts on this game know way more than the people that are making the roster decisions. The experts know more than the people that are making the roster decisions. The person that's making the roster decision should be a fucking expert. That's all that I want to fucking say about this. Like, it's, I don't know.
All right. We dove in a lot. Yeah, I know. I just we got to talk about it. Tweets up. Double Lift is now. This is fresh off Twitter. So all of you listen to the audio version. Double Lift is now up for trade by Team Liquid.
I've known about this for a while. We can finally speak on it.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's listen to GM Dominate on how this one plays out, what they're looking for. What are your thoughts on this? Quick thoughts. Or
I mean, I know you're memeing it, but like,
thoughts.
I unironically think I would be a better GM than most of these GMs.
No.
Like,
I was memeing
I
you
actually
in that
believe
moment.
that.
I do think you would. I think it's just general manager positions in the traditional sense have so much more of the business background, the stuff that you're talking about, the suit and tie stuff. I think there needs to be a separate position for specifically competitive stuff. Like
Here, I'll tell you the problem with it. The problem with it is the people that are hiring the GMs, their game knowledge isn't the highest, right? So they go for people. To get hired as the GM, you're like the check mark, like they check is, are you professional? Are you mature? Do you have experience working with people? And not the game knowledge part, because they can't test the game knowledge part.
They don't want a GM being some dude who's calling people retards on Twitter all day and having Reddit threads about how much of a fucking flamer they are. Like, that's what they want to avoid.
The thing is,
damn, that's both of you.
No. The thing is, they would want people like that if they knew the difference between is this person good at judging the game. But for them, let's say like between Dom and another person, they don't know who knows the game better. For them, Dom knows the game as just as much as this responsible, mature adult with people experience. So they're like, why don't I take the...
How retarded is that premise? That somebody that lived in the team environment and played this game professionally for 5 years would have the same amount of game knowledge as some person who like worked in a business field. What?
But they don't know that. They don't know that. So
the fact that they can't figure that out for themselves, like they can't look at like your body of work, your like what you've done with your life, like how you've positioned yourself to be in this point to even like have this job. The fact that they don't understand like the complexity that is involved in this game, and like the fact that they're like, oh yeah, well like it's probably similar. It's like, what? How could it possibly be similar? How? Like, how could it possibly be similar? Like, how do you not know? What I don't understand is how people don't know, like, when they don't know shit. Like, if I don't know shit about, like another game, right? Just because I understand League of Legends, I don't know shit about CSGO or Valorant. Just because I have, like, some experience within being in a team environment, let's say I had coaching experience in League of Legends, how would I, like, be able to transfer that to CSGO, et cetera? And most of these GMs are, like, coming from, like, other games and things like that. Or it's like casters, where it's like, oh, I mean, you seem knowledgeable when you talk about the game, but, like, casters are never going to know as much. Why do you think that like LS is essentially like the best caster right now? It's because he just knows the most about the game because he was a coach first. Like, that's what matters.
Also, the other part is most people don't even know. Like, how do you how you get hired as GM, there isn't an open call. So you can't even apply.
Yeah.
So 100 Thieves did their GM search last year privately, and then a lot of it was like word of mouth and like seeing who was interested, but there isn't like an open call of like, yo, who wants to be GM, dudes?
Mhm.
Also, let's talk about the double lifting.
Yeah, let's close this up on GMs.
Yeah.
GMs, useless position in League of Legends.
No, GM's not useless positions. GM's very important, very crucial position. Not enough qualified GMs.
You didn't let me finish. Useless position in competitive standpoints currently. That's what I was going to get at. But all right. Let's move to Doublelift. The news just hit. Doublelift's contract has been put up for trade, so they're Team Liquid looking for trade opportunities. Given that means Tactical or somebody else is going to be filling the spot if they can find a trade partner. If not, that's going to be very weird. That Doublelift comes back now knowing he's publicly being traded. You went first. All the other ones, Dom, you go first on thoughts on this move here by TL.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that pretty much like the point that it got to is that Doublelift is just like not suited to be in this team environment anymore. It's not like Doublelift's like a bad player. Like, I'm sure that Doublelift can go to another team if he's motivated enough. He'll be like an upgrade over almost every AD carry in the league. I guess the most obvious place that I think that he should go to would be TSM. Sounds troll, but he has experience playing with Biofrost. He's, in my opinion, a better player than Kabi when he's on form. You know, like I think that would probably be just like the best fit for him currently. Obviously, I think that there might be issues with this because like this is where I think he would fit in the best, not where I think he would go. Other option would potentially be CLG.
What?
Yeah,
Both
I think
his old
CLG.
homes.
Yeah. I mean, out of like the other teams, it's like, do you think that 100 Thieves would replace Cody Sun? Do you think that Dignitas is replacing Johnson, up and coming with a person that's like trouble? The last place that I was going to say would be FlyQuest. But I think that that's very rough because Wild Turtle's like, so I've had this conversation with people. So like I've spent time thinking about this because I've known about this for a while. And Wild Turtle is like kind of like the brand of FlyQuest. He's the only one that does shit for them. So I think that has a pretty stable job regardless of like his player skill. And then I can't see Doublelift wanting to join a team like Immortals.
That was like
this season. C9's not changing anything. So Golden Guardians, FBI is considered pretty good within their own organization. They respect him a lot as a player. So I think that those are like the three teams that we're looking at here. It'd be CLG, TSM, and FlyQuest potentially, but FlyQuest like very rarely. So maybe CLG, TSM. Let me throw in a team that you might think it's not possible. I think Golden Guardians actually pretty possible.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna, like Loco. I looked at you and I was like, this looks like exactly where we're thinking. Golden Guardians always wanted to spend money for a top tier player, and Doublelift fits that bill perfectly. And then the other part is Golden Guardians head of esports, Hunter. If there's like a click between Hunter, Kelby, and Travis Gafford and Nick Allen, and Doublelift, like they all go to each other's wedding, they all hang out afterwards, like they all think highly of each other. So I don't think you should count out Golden Guardians. The reason why I'm counting out Golden Guardians is because FBI is like very well respected within their team. Like I know FBI has been like hit or miss in terms of like our perception of them, but here it's like they'll respect Doublelift. I mean, I just think that they actually think FBI is really good. So I think that like the fact that Doublelift is like kind of a problem child, like it could happen. Like I'm not ruling it out. But from my understanding of the team, like they don't want to replace FBI. Okay, so they might think that, but the person above usually makes the decision, and that's Hunter, general manager.
No, the head of the head of esport. Yeah, the head of esport. Mm-hmm. This is even above general manager. He'll pull the
general
trigger.
Manager is Danon, right?
Yeah, and one thing about GG is like people talk about budget. Like I heard how much they were paying some of their fucking streamers. Like this team's concept of budget is kind of fucked, so I don't think they'll have like a hard time like eating Doublelift salary.
What? It didn't used to be like that.
I mean, do you really think that Doublelift is gonna go play with fucking Golden Glue and Huhi? I think they will probably have to make additional changes on top of it, but I'm not saying they're the front runners, but I wouldn't count them out. I think the front runners are actually TSM, even though it sounds super troll. It's not troll at all. Why is it troll? Because Doublelift is dating the manager that's also like the ex-girlfriend. Like I feel like that's
I think it's awkward.
Troll.
I think it's awkward. I don't think
that's
it's
what
troll.
I mean. That's what I mean by troll. Like,
I think it's most
awkward.
likely because TSM needs to do better. I think it's awkward because of Andy and Lena, but I do think it is like a huge high chance. And they can use an import too if they get double over Kabe.
We just outlined all their other moves. Their other moves have always been splashes. What bigger splash can you have than this? Welcome home.
Wow.
I think that's honestly the best place for him.
Yeah.
And FlyQuest would be like a good move too. So David, he has experience coaching Doublelift from Team Liquid, and I know they're pretty close and they talk every now and then. So, like, that could definitely be a pull also. I'm just shocked that Steve is willing to let go of double.
Yeah, I mean, I think it got pretty, like, ugly there. I mean, like, everyone knew that there was issues because he was getting, like, benched and shit, and no one ever expected him to get benched, but, like, yeah, it is not it's not a good time over there right now. So
wow, Bio double Bjerg, they got 3 of the fits back.
Yeah, and they have...
They could get Hanser back. If they really wanted, they could have got Hanser. If they really wanted, I'm sure they could get Hanser back too.
They don't need Hanser. And then you got to just keep Dardoch. Okay, let him reset the mental boom, and
I think if they get double, they should replace Dardoch for sure.
Speaka, it's your time to shine, buddy.
The thing about double Bjerg is also double doesn't fit in with Broken Blade. That's one, like, stylistically, double Broken Blade does not fit in.
Yeah, I think so. But, I mean, I think it would kind of look like 2017 TSM. Like, yeah, I don't think it would be the best fit. I don't think that this team would necessarily win. But I don't know, man. I can't imagine them being worse than they are now.
They'll be better, but it's not a good fit in terms of, like, who double wants at the top lane.
I think it kind of would remind me of 2017 TSM.
Where Hanser complained all the time about like not being a carry, and Broken Blade would just have the same kind of feeling.
So 2016 was like Hanser only on tanks. The 2017 spring was when Wild Turtle was in, and then Hanser became more of a carry player. And then 2017 summer was like Hanser, like they played through both.
Oh man, I love what Chad is saying. I actually think this would be perfect. Broken Blade, Closer, Bjerg, double Bio.
That would actually be a really good team.
That's their iteration. They have
to pay Golden Guardians like they would have to let them rent free in the TSM facility for Golden Guardians. Like that's the only thing that would work. It would have to pay the dump truck.
They paid 50 mil, and then they're also like going downward as a brand. I'm sure like they would want to like kind of turn things around, and maybe you can get like a.
That's what they always think, though. They keep making this big move, this big splash. You just got Kabe. And who isn't playing well? Granted, yes, but neither was the other move that you made. And you're not investing time in letting that player fit in. Kabe's mostly been at one place for his career. He spent 4-5 years over at Splice. Like, it just give that investment a little bit of time, even though, you had a bad experience with that with Mithy Sven. Like, just give it a little bit of time. No? Am I the only one that's crazy here? Because
the thing is, like,
you gotta go splash it now.
If you can make Doublelift work, Doublelift has been the best player in LCS for a long fucking time. And they also know Doublelift. It's not even that big of a risk for TSM. And you don't get an opportunity at Doublelift every year.
Yep.
Like
TSM Doublelift confirmed. We can clickbait the fuck out of the video. All right, we're good.
I think most likely TSM Doublelift, most likely.
All right,
and the other half is tactical. I'm sure it's just going to be tactical starting then.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's completely fine. I feel like TL needs less ego at this point.
Wait, what happens to Kabe? Just see ya. Go back home.
Is there any team that we missed? Not EG for sure.
The Mortals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Doublelift would go to Immortals. Maybe because of Xmithy, because he's boys with Xmithy, but like that's such a shit team that like he knows he's just gonna be losing on. Like I think that he'd rather not play than go to Immortals.
All these like shitty teams that we keep in the running, like CLG, somewhat Golden Guardians, Immortals. There needs to be an additional move.
Is there a mid laner that would be available? Because wouldn't Soaz be playing the type of top lane that would be beneficial for Doublelift to
Theoretically, Theoretically,
yeah,
but it would just be like at a worse level than Doublelift would want.
If they can get a mid laner that works as a carry, that would also make Immortals work. That would
anyone but not Ica, please. This guy's taking up an import slot. You can literally get any player in the world. Like it's an import slot up.
I'm not sure if you can import during spring and summer, by the way, because of the Rona thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
Insanity, it's your time to shine.
Double note, like
No, I'm actually like down with that though. Like I think that it would be more worthwhile for Immortals to play Insanity than Ica at this point. Like if you're gonna have the worst mid anyway, like what's the worst that Insanity can do? Worse than the worst mid? What, he's gonna be the 11th best mid out of 10? Like I don't think that you can actually get much worse than that. So like, why not take a player that actually has promise and let them play?
Yeah, Twitch chat spamming Soy Luigi. Here we go. Soliga watch reignited. That and Damonte. But all those guys that are under contract, so even Soliga and Damonte, they have probably very big buyouts. So Insanity already in your system, it's free to just pull them
in
the start. So
no. Yeah. Especially like if you're on Dig, you're gonna have a buyout. So
I thought TL had like a shot at getting back to the I thought
good old days.
The good old days, and like it's not the end of the dynasty, but like Double leaving is like finally the end of the dynasty. And also, one thing that's not possible anymore. Once Double's on the trading block, Double's not coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't think Doublelift is going to play one more game for Team Liquid.
Yeah. So
get
like
those vintage jerseys. So
any TL fan that's praying at he's just gonna look and then he's gonna come back, not happening.
So all right. I like this one too because we're in speculation mode and it's another big name that we've kind of forgotten a little bit. What if the man that spent his whole career on one team, then faded away, hopped onto the super team? That would be Sneaky. What if Sneaky came back and hopped onto
People
team?
talked about this.
No, TL's not going to spend money. TL is like,
well, it's also just like I think the Tactical is in better form than Sneaky.
I agree. I agree.
Like, I think Tactical is actually pretty good, and like I think some people just like I mean I feel like Sneaky's like a big name, and I don't think Sneaky's bad, but I think Tactical is very very good right now, and he's grinding, and he's been in the team, and when he played with the team, he looked like he was solid. Like I don't see any reason for a TL to not use Tactical. Like if we're not using our rookie talent like Tactical right now, then what the fuck is the point, man? Like what is the point of having these fucking amateur teams? Like if this is not the situation where you fucking bring up your second string player, like, all right, then just fucking import and just be dog shit forever.
The thing about Tactical the thing about Sneaky, it's not just skill level, right? Like Tactical comes with 0 baggage. Tactical's like
2 accounts in the top 10. He looked like he could play in solo queue.
Yeah.
When fucking Core JJ was grinding for rank 1, who was he doing with? Not Doublelift, he was doing with fucking Tactical. Like, everyone thinks Tactical is a fucking beast. Like, he's a beast. Sure, he might like make rookie mistakes, but like overall, his level of play is going to be so much higher than like these other people that are being mentioned.
Yeah,
I'll even say like this. Let's say Sneaky. We're in a world where Sneaky is better than Tactical. Sneaky costs more. Sneaky's gonna have his own demands. Sneaky's gonna want more out of the team. Sneaky's just gonna be a harder piece to fit in than Tactical, even if Sneaky is better. And I think the consensus is Tactical's better, and Tactical has potential to be way fucking better too.
Sneaky would have experience, like that's valuable in like later situations, etc. But like you have to analyze how these people are performing, and it's like okay, so Tactical in LCS looked good, and then if you look at like how he's playing solo queue, it's not like he's like one tricking and it's like it's some weird pick. Like you can see when people get rank 1 and it's like okay, they like cheese their way to rank 1 or some shit like that, or they like do abuse with somebody on like a Pistol account or something like that. But it's like Tactical plays all the shit that's good. He is always grinding. He's always playing the champions that he's like should be playing. He's trying to adapt to like new picks that come out. So like when Syndra became popular, he started spamming Syndra. Like he is actually trying to be the best player possible right now, best well-rounded, and just have like a great champion pool in order to like be adaptable in any situation to any team. This is such a prime player that needs LCS time. These are the people that we need to start developing. This is somebody that could be kha'zix. This could easily be NA kha'zix. Like, But NA is like the fact that this is even a discussion is like kind of disgusting. That just shows how fucked NA is mentally.
Yeah.
NA is a streamer region.
Yeah.
Streamer region.
Yes.
Our most famous players are streamers. I don't even know of European streamers.
No way for you.
Rad IRL.
Rad IRL.
Sure, but like I can name you 10 NA streamers for every Rad IRL.
Yeah.
Wicked.
There's also other people. There's like the national streamers that are all like pretty big. So like El Mayor and fucking
Paulo
No Way
and then for that we have like Tyler One, like
Overpow,
Tarzan, like we have just like Night Blue, like we have like Cutie Pie, Void. We just have so much fucking streamers compared to EU, and like EU, it's like the pros that are way more known.
Yeah, that's good. That's how it should be. That's how I would have always preferred it to be. It's so ass backwards that like to become more popular in NA, you quit LCS and become a streamer. Like that's so weird to me.
Then you make more money too.
Yeah, and you make like oh my god, it's so stupid. Whatever, it's fine. We'll take it.
So we diverted because it was breaking news, hot off the press, and but let's leave awful combinations of roster jumbling for the off season. We'll get to that after the season's over. We have matches next week. The final set of matches here. FlyQuest against EG, and then Cloud9 waiting the winner of that matchup. Dom, you said FlyQuest would be better suited to play against Cloud9, but do you think they'll be able to get through EG?
No. All right, that's it. No, they won't. Like, they're 5. Like, EG is just like a direct counter to FlyQuest, I think. 5-1. 5-1 is the game score between both of those teams. We got to see a series with them. And the reason why I think that like FlyQuest can't really win is that was a series where Jizuke played bad, right? So if Jizuke is playing bad and EG's, if Jizuke is playing bad into FlyQuest and EG's still winning, like how does FlyQuest ever win? Right.
So FlyQuest series with solo.
So yeah, for me, I'm actually going to pick FlyQuest over EG. I want to keep my predictions consistent, and that's what I did on Summoning Insight. I also picked FlyQuest over EG. They might be 5-1. They're 1-1 with solo. And then the other 4 losses all came with Viper. I think FlyQuest came together a lot. It's going to be close either way. Like, I won't be shocked if EG wins. I won't be shocked if FlyQuest wins, but I'm going to have FlyQuest.
And yeah, I predict EG to win. I think that based on how the teams have interacted so far, I think it's really hard for like FlyQuest, the only place they can get an advantage is like probably top.
Top, yeah.
That's the only place they can get an advantage. Like their ball lane is probably going to get smashed. I think if EG is smart, I think if EG gets cocky with their pick ban and they don't respect FlyQuest, because the thing that I had a discussion about this yesterday, the thing that's really important in NA is like individual player strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's mismatches a lot.
Yeah, and like certain players are just way better on certain champions than they are on everything. And you always like in every like I don't care if people pretend like other regions are better. No matter what region you're in, you always take into account player strength. And I've talked to coaches about this, etc. Mm-hmm. Player strength is extremely important in terms of like determining how you're going to do your pick ban, because not every player can play every champion at the same level, even at the highest level. That's just never a thing, right? Like if you're playing against FPX and DoomB, you're not going to ban out like Syndra and Orianna, even if those are like super, super strong and high priority, unless DoomB beats you with them, because he's just not somebody who's known at playing those champions well.
Even with FPX, like Gimgoon isn't a player that's going to play all the carries either.
Yeah. So I think that EG should just take the fucking L and ban Rakan throughout the whole series.
But there's a chance they might not.
But if they leave Rakan, like there are ways where FlyQuest could win, but I think it has to be like bad days from EG. Like EG has to underperform, plus they have to be cocky with their draft.
What I worry about though is that Power of Evil played very well in that series along with Ignar, the classic FlyQuest success formula. Mm-hmm. And Jizuke was coin flippy against Niski, who
and he's played pretty bad throughout like the playoffs. I think Jizuke has looked much worse in the playoffs than he did in the regular season.
I hate to say it, but Bjerg made it easy for Power of Evil.
Yeah, it is true.
Bjerg didn't push Power of Evil in any way.
Yeah, Bjerg felt like he's playing not to lose and get to the point where he can make the play to win, but not play to win to make the play.
One thing I did want to mention during like TSM, when we were talking about TSM series that I didn't get to, is like Bjerg has turned into such a conservative player at times. item choice that really let me know was he had 10 stack Dark Seal, and when he recalled to base, he bought a Blasting Wand. Like, what the fuck? Just sell the Corrupting Pod and upgrade to Medjais? I think it's a move that like 90% of carry mid laners would have made. But Bjerg is just so conservative now. Like, he's not willing to take any kind of risk. Like, Bjerg 4-0 Silas feels different than other 4-0 Silas.
Yeah. No, we were saying it too. I was talking to Niski while we were watching that series, and we were like, yeah, this has to be a soul stealer. You're something, and it's also like a game where it's pretty much impossible for you to die too. Like, you're playing into Pantheon LeBlanc as Silas at that point. When you're that far ahead, they can never even kill you.
I think it's a meme when they call him like Froggen 2.0, but he definitely isn't like Bjergsen of 2015 anymore. He isn't like looking for risky things where he can like actually carry the team on his back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we have our predictions there, and anyone toppling Cloud9, anyone taking a game off Cloud9, either one, you can make predictions.
Yeah, I think they maybe drop a game in finals, but I think that it'll be Cloud9 winning the whole thing.
EG or FlyQuest, I don't think it matters. I think Cloud9 wins. Who do I think has a better shot? I think Fly might have a better shot if they make it to take more games than EG. But either way, I think C9's going to win.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I think it's so rough going into a series where you just lost to the team. You know, like if you're a really well like prepared team mentally, I think you can do it. Like obviously Mad Lions versus G2. I think G2 is probably going to be favorites over Mad Lions in LEC just because like that team has the resilience. They're going to get better, and like, yeah, I just like believe in that team to bounce back from and like take L's. I think as EG, they're coming into like the C9 series with like pretty high confidence. Like, yeah, like we could be one of the best teams. Like it's not going to be like a stomp either way. And then to like get stomped, and like they pulled out like most of the stuff that I feel like they wanted to pull out in that series. Like they did their Gragas Yasuo first game. Where like, this is our way to beat C9. You get Niski on Syndra, and then you pick the Gragas Yasuo into him, and you just like camp him. And they tried that shit, and they failed. I feel like now it's like kind of scary for EG. So
G2 and C9 are really different teams in terms of like their discipline. I don't think C9 is going to be the kind of team that's going to fuck around. Like,
well, no. I'm comparing G2 to EG here.
Okay.
I'm saying G2 is like EG into. So like Mad Lions beat G2 in playoffs, in first round of playoffs. And then I think that G2 playing versus Mad Lions have a much better chance. G2 have a much better chance of beating Mad Lions than EG does of like running it back, even though they lost the series, beating C9. Like I feel like confidence wise, their confidence is broken from that.
Yeah, because they did hit him with their best shot and it didn't work.
Yeah, and they just got shit on.
Feels like such
even the game they won, they can't even really feel that good about. You know, like the game they won was a massive throw.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Are you guys doing any of the LCS tailgate stuff?
No. I did the mock draft, but that's about it.
Yeah. Did you want me to pull that up when we talk mock draft? Let me see here.
I think it was interesting how the thread went in regards to the mock draft.
I'm gonna find that off your Twitter, Dom. That's probably the easiest way, right?
Yep.
All right, so set it up here for us. So Riot asked you guys to do a mock draft of EG and FlyQuest, and so this is what you guys came up with here. It's on your screen. So, Dom, talk us through it.
I mean, I guess essentially, like, this is the best way I think FlyQuest could draft into EG, given like their players, and this is like considering their priority. I did another mock draft. What I think EG would actually do, like, I don't think EG would ever ban Set here on blue. I think EG would potentially ban Rakan. Yeah, like I expect EG to ban Rakan against FlyQuest, right? Maybe they don't, but I think that banning the Set on blue is kind of troll when you flex it like EG does, because they play it support and top. I don't know, it's weird because like most of like the comments that I got were super negative about like how hard I lost this draft, because I drafted on the side of FlyQuest and LS drafted EG, and every single player that would have had to play in this game from FlyQuest and EG said that I won the draft. So it's crazy, like the difference between the overall perception of draft and like how the players perceive draft, like knowing their own teams, knowing the enemy teams and their own strength. I think that was like the big takeaway here.
The one thing that's really weird for me is the range support thing.
Yeah.
Is there any reason that's like primarily playing range support into all these melee supports? Because like just everyone in competitive is so wrong where they think range supports aren't viable and range supports are apparently viable in terms of draft. Like,
yeah.
And that's the biggest question for me.
So, I mean, I guess the way that people kind of view EG's comp is they win like front to back disengage if it becomes 5v5. But I don't think that FlyQuest need to play 5v5 with this draft. I feel like they can 1-3-1 pretty easily here. And then also I think that it's very dangerous to play Zyra in this game because I actually talked to Grabs about this. And a point that he brought up that I didn't even consider was like the way that Zyra Rakan actually interact to this lane matchup is what Rakan should do in this lane is literally just flash trade with the Zyra level 1. So Rakan should like actually just flash W the Zyra, and Zyra has to flash at level 1 because Zyra Rakan is so strong at level 1. And then
she can't play up anymore.
Yeah, and then once she has to play without flash, Trundle just ganks one time and the fucking game is over. So that's pretty much like how that lane will probably function in pro play.
Well, the thing is, people are just saying play safe forehead, don't get ganked, and then wait until you outscale them. Like when you're playing safe and you give up prio, it affects mid lane, it affects jungle, it affects dragons. Like you can't just play safe and like the other team does nothing.
Yeah, that's a major difference from everyone's solo queue experience that everyone's hitting on right now in chat. Like there's so much more that you got to focus on. And when you play Zyra Ashe, isn't that supposed to be like, hey, you're shoving, you're the one that's pushing everybody in? Like it was made famous by
to win as hard as possible to like actually be able to like deny the Zyra CS. Yeah, they have to like push into turret and poke. They have to poke bot lane. But I think it's very difficult for them to like survive this type of game because Azir is going to have to like play relatively safe, right? Like Azir cannot just walk directly into like if Azir is playing up and just perma shoving and he gets ganked by LeBlanc Trundle, he'll just die the same way that Nuke Duck died a million times in the game versus G2, when like the Origin game versus G2. Like this is actually kind of rough. So that's an issue. And then if he isn't able to shove, like bot lane dives here can be fucking brutal. Like I just think that also. So like I'm drafting from the side of FlyQuest. Like just imagining that I have the 5 FlyQuest players versus the 5 EG players, which I think is the most crucial point of this draft. And I just feel like I've gotten a draft here for FlyQuest where every single player is super comfortable on their pick.
Yeah, when I would say the only one is Power of Evil and LeBlanc. That's the only one, maybe. But the other.
No, he played really good LeBlanc games versus who did it? Who did he do that versus? Was it versus Steve? No, it was versus someone else.
So I meant just in the Azir matchup. Like, how does the LeBlanc into Azir work? Then don't you just get poked out, and anytime you go in, you're gonna get sand soldiered?
LeBlanc doesn't have a lot of like just pure winning matchups, so he did it versus Golden Guardians, not 100 Thieves. All LeBlanc matchups aren't winning, they're just setup lanes. LeBlanc has a dash and a CC. You're setting up and waiting for people to give you positioning for your jungle. And if they aren't, then you actually get to push the lane and you get to move around the map and work with your jungle.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you go. Let us know what you think. You can hit up Dom on his Twitter page and hit those comments just like everyone else has with their 2 cents of feedback, and we'll get to see how the matches play out this weekend because they'll be playing on Saturday, and the winner of that matchup will take on Cloud9 on Sunday. All right, guys. Cool episode where we get updated on news on the fly, as well as going a little deep into some of the back end issues of TSM and just North America in general in the form of decision makers and the decision making process that's been put into place. Anything else you guys wanted to hit before we call it?
I'm good.
What a eventful episode.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with the technical issues. Let us know. Send me your bingo cards on how this one went. It was a very different kind of episode. Hopefully you guys liked it.